So we were in the section where Satyavrata, King Satyavrata, is offering the prayers to the fish incarnation of the Supreme Lord. So he saw as described by the Supreme Lord when he appeared appeared to him before. So on the seventh day, the water of the ocean started to rise, and all the land was getting submerged into the water. And then a boat came as destined, as predicted by the Supreme Lord. So he took all the herbs and the rishis onto that boat. He himself went, and the rishis told him, "You meditate upon the Matsya incarnation of the Supreme Lord." So he did so, and when he was doing so, the Lord appeared before him as a golden fish, which was 8 million miles long. And then the Satyavrata, King Satyavrata, he started praying, offering prayers to the fish incarnation of the Supreme Lord. So he is actually glorifying the Lord, that he is the guru of all the living beings of this world. In the few verses which we have seen, he was glorifying that since you actually get the living entity out of the illusion of this world, you will break free the bonds of illusion and to the fruitive activities. So therefore, you are actually the guru of the living entities in this world. So, and by engaging in your service, as if when a metal like gold and silver, when it is put into fire, it loses its impurity and its original nature of being shining comes forth. So in a similar way, when a living entity comes in contact with you, he regains his original identity of being the pristine spiritual soul. So therefore, may that inexhaustible personality of Godhead is yourself uh, uh, become our spiritual master. So, so, mm, uh, the Srila Prabhupada says in the purport that in this particular purport, which we didn't touch upon, that tapo divyam putrakayana sattvam. King Rishabdev instructed his sons that it is tapasya that will actually purify one's existence, and therefore, and Shuddhya Jasmat Brahma Saukyam Tanantam. So by that purification, the Brahma Sukha, the eternal liberation, the experience of the living entity in contact with Brahman will dawn upon the living entity, and therefore that that sukha, which is unending to anantam, will be bestowed upon the living entity by dint of perseverance to the process of tapasya. So therefore, the process of tapasya is very important. The living entity, by the association of the modes of material nature from time immemorial, has accrued so much of impurities on the mirror of the heart. So therefore, for the living entity to get over that dirt, to relinquish the dirt of the heart, he has to undergo the process of purification through tapasya. And then when that tapan, when that burning happens, when a metal is burnt in fire, it loses its impurities. Similarly, when the living entity burns in the fire of tapasya, then its original nature of being the pure part and parcel of the Supreme Lord shines forth. and therefore he can experience unending happiness, and along with that, cessation of the cycle of birth and death will happen. So there are various processes of uh, you know decontamination, which are like karma, jnana, and yoga. But none of these processes can actually give that purification which the process of devotional service can give. So the analogy given is, so if you want to get rid of dirt, a metal can be washed with soap and water, but that will not give that purity as much as when it is put into fire. So similarly, uh, yat sevaya. So yat sevaya, so means by worshipping whose lotus feet. Uh, so we may undergo so many process of atonement through jnana, karma, yoga, and all, but these are not as effective as devotional service is. So the original original identity, varnam, of the spiritual soul is to be actually the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. He is Satchidananda Vigraha. We are also Satchidananda Vigraha. So therefore, the nature of the soul is to seek enjoyment, Anandamaya Bhyasat. So uh, when that is the original nature of the soul, and uh, if that is what is the living entity looking for, so it will only get it through devotional service only, and not by any other means. So therefore, therefore, one should adopt the instructions of the spiritual master and abide by them without questioning. So disciple means discipline. So discipline also means humility. Discipline, why? Because if there is no discipline, when there is no humility, when the disciple thinks, why should I follow this order? So therefore, there is no discipline. There is indiscipline. So to accept someone's order on our head and to execute, that requires humility. So therefore, to be a disciple invariably means one has to be disciple. If we think that actually we know something, or if we have a difference of opinion, or let it be put in this way: if we actually uh, uh, feel that we know something, when a spiritual master is saying to do the otherwise, so it is not actually humility. On the other hand, to think when an instruction is given by the spiritual master that I cannot do it, that is also humility. So why it is not humility? It is pride. Why it is not humility? Why it is pride? Because uh, when we are saying that I cannot do something, it is not possible for me. So we are actually indicating that I can do something. So to say that I can't do something, it is not possible for me. So that means it externally appears as if we are helpless and we are incapable of doing that. However, the other message for that sentence is that we are capable of something. So both are actually not correct, because to say that we are not capable of something, when we are saying not capable of something, that means we are capable of something. That means we are thinking that we are the doer. So that means we are not understanding that actually Krishna is a doer. So when we are surrendered, actually Krishna is the doer. And if we are not surrendered, the material nature is the doer. In either case, we are not the doer. So it said in Bhagavad Gita प्रकृतेः क्रियमाणानि गुणैः कर्माणि सर्वशः अहंकार विमूढ़ आत्मा कर्ताहमिति मन्यते. So ahankara vimudha atma karta aham iti manyate is saying prakritehi kriyamanani. So the modes of material nature are impelling the living entity according to his desires to do certain activities. So in actuality the actions are being dictated by the modes of nature. However, the living entity feels himself as the doer because he is overtaken by false pride, ahankara vimudha atma. He foolishly thinks that he is the doer. So when we are considering ourselves to be disciple, so that means we have to actually give up this false pride of ourselves being the doer. So we have to put ourselves under the shelter of the lotus feet of the Guru and accept the instruction. So, and the representatives of Guru are around us always. So the Guru in today's context may not come directly and tell you do this. But if we are following the principle of Guru, the principle of Guru means we are actually submitting to the principle of, we are submitting to the will of the Guru. And whoever is executing the will of the Guru becomes the Guru for in our life for us. So if at any point of time in our life we have to have someone where we can actually put our head down and obey whatever they say. So, and that is the most fortunate position for a conditioned soul in this world, to have no one above our head and to actually think that I know everything and I can do anything and I can resolve my difficulties. It is actually a very precarious condition for a living entity. For no soul, nay, however material situation one may be in, the modes of material nature are so powerful and strong then that it can bewilder the most intelligent and powerful man to degrade to the lowest and meniable rank. So therefore one has to actually be intelligent enough to actually put oneself under the shelter of someone who actually is the representative of the Guru Tattva, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Lord is a Parama Guru, and we actually have to follow that principle of submitting ourselves to the disciplic succession, which actually connects us to the Supreme Lord. So even though we may not have the fortune of directly being in contact with the Supreme Lord, we actually are fortunate enough to have the Lord's representative with us. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Yara dekha tara kaha Krishna Upadesh. So the bona fide Guru who advises the disciple to surrender to Krishna. And this is the Guru Parampara system. So if one is fortunate enough to find such a bona fide Guru, then one has to wholesale surrender to that Guru, to that principle of Guru Tattva, so that he can actually make his life sublime in this ocean of material existence, which is otherwise very dangerous for the conditioned soul. So we discussed later. So these, if we surrender to other people, they actually cannot give even the 10,000th part of the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So therefore, they are like, it is like as if a blind man is leading another blind man. Both of them do not know what is the real goal of life, and it is only inevitable that they will fall into the ditch. So there we are, and we are starting our sloka from today, from the 51st sloka today. जनो जनस्यादिशते असतीं गतिं यया प्रपद्येत दुरत्ययं तमः तं त्वव्ययं ज्ञानममोघमञ्जसा प्रपद्यते येन जनो निजं पदम्. So he's saying a materialistic so-called guru instructs the materialistic disciples about economic development and sense gratification. So we are seeing in this sloka what is the effect of following such a blind man. The effect of following such a blind man he talks about sub-religious principles or that which is not actually the purpose of dharma, means economic development, which is a side benefit. So janasya adisate asatim gatim. So false goal, asatim satim, impermanent goal. So they teach about the impermanent goals. What are those impermanent goals? Yaya prapadyeta duratyayam tamaha tvam tu avyayam jnanam amogham anjasa prapadyate yena jano nijam padam. So a materialistic guru talks about impermanent goals. And because of such instructions, the foolish disciples continue in the materialistic existence of ignorance. So janisya adisake. So when they are being instructed by the ordinary people into the impermanent solutions of this life, then the result is continuation of material existence. So but your lordships, tvam tu avyayam jnanam amogham anjasa prapadyate. So but your lordships give knowledge that is eternal, avyayam, and the intelligent persons received, that person, jana, receiving, and that intelligent person receiving such knowledge, avyayam jnanam amogham, such real knowledge is quickly situated in his nijam padam, in his original constitutional position, in his own constitutional position. So the so-called gurus we see in this world also nowadays, it is very much applicable that we actually, people only go to the gurus to attain some material profit. There are very few who actually talk about the real goal of life. So we have this experience in this world also. How many gurus in today's world can actually talk about liberation from material existence? And how many gurus will actually talk about what is the original state of the living being and what is our duty of the living being as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord? So how many gurus can act on today's date other than the Vaishnava Sampradayas who actually talk about the real goal of life with clarity and with how do we put it? With clarity and assertion. So where is the assertion on the real goal of life? The real goal of life is being to become the servant of the servant of the servant of the Supreme Lord, because our constitutional position is to be actually the servant of the servant of the Supreme Lord, and the reality of life is that we are suffering in this ocean of material existence and from time immemorial. So which school actually is teaching this? So very few. So therefore, we have to be intelligent enough to seek shelter from the right source. So the Nijam Padam, Prabhupada is saying, the Nijam Padam of the living entity, the original position of the living entity is to be in Vaikuntha. So therefore, so we have to seek shelter of that Guru who instructs the disciple to go back to Vaikuntha and live with him. So we have to go to that place where, having given up this material body, we will never return to this ocean of material existence. That is Tyaktva Deham Punarjanma Naiti Mameti Sorjuna. Tvam sarvalokasya suhrut priyesvaro yatma gurur jnanam abhishta siddhi tathapi loko na bhavantamandhadhir janati santam hridibaddha kama. Saying, Tvam sarvalokasya suhrut priya ishvaro. So you are the supreme well-wishing friend, suhrut, and priya, dearmost friend of Ishvaro and the controller of all the people of this world. Sarvalokasya. And not only that, he Atma Gurur Jnanam. So you are the super soul, Atma, Gurur, the supreme instructor, and Jnanam, and the giver of that knowledge. Abhishta Siddhi, and also the fulfillment of your the desires. Tathapi loko na bhavantam andadhir. So, but even then, tathapi lokaha na bhavantam andadhir janati. So, although you are within the heart, the foolish, because of they cannot understand you. Na janati. So they do not actually understand you because of being blinded by kamaha baddha. So because of being bound by the lusty desires in their heart, because of the material desire for enjoyment of this world, so they cannot actually understand you, who are the supreme friend, the dearmost friend, the controller, and also the giver of knowledge. And not only that, you are actually giving the fulfillment of the desires of everyone. So people are full of desire, sarva kamaha, but they do not understand that you actually are giving the fulfillment of desires, and then they find some other sources where they can seek shelter of, and then they actually are cheated of the real purpose of life. So therefore, the reason for foolishness is described here. So because the Lord, because the soul is full of material desires, he cannot understand. Although the Lord is situated in the heart. Isvara sarva bhutana vriddeshe arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rudani maya. So the Lord is situated in the heart of everyone, but the foolish do not understand this. So although the Lord is there in the heart of everyone, ready to instruct the disciple, devotee, as soon as he turns towards him, the living entity is so foolish that he is busy eating the fruits, the bitter and sour fruits of his reactions. Therefore, he is in a very precarious condition. So, in the other words, the Lord can give instructions on devotional service by which one can return home back to Godhead. But because of lusty desires, one engages himself. The bird which is eating the fruits on the tree is never ready to even actually turn towards his friend bird, who is sitting near to him. So that is the position. Therefore, one is bereft of the value of the Lord's instructions. But we can concoct we can devise so many means of enjoyment by our mental plans, but all those plans cannot actually give us the fulfillment of our heart. So therefore, the real purpose of life is to go back home, back to Godhead, and dance and play with the Supreme Lord. But because of the obstinacy of the conditioned soul to be the enjoyer of this world, the soul is not ready to actually take instruction from the Supreme Lord, who is sitting nearby, and therefore it suffers perpetually. त्वं त्वामहदेव त्वाम् अहं देववरं वरेण्यं प्रपद्य ईशं प्रतिबोधनाय भगवान् वचोभिर्ग्रन्थीन् हृदयान् विवृणु स्वम् ओकः. So now Satyavrata Muni, King Satyavrata is understanding that he is helpless. So therefore he is telling, O Supreme Lord, for self-realization I surrender unto you. So Prapatya, so Isham. So therefore, O Isha, I surrender unto you. You are actually Devavara, Varenyam. So you are worshipped by the demigods as the supreme controller. Isha, supreme controller of everything. Therefore, Pratibodhanaya. So therefore, you actually instruct me by your instructions. Please expose the purpose of life. By your instructions, exposing the life's purpose. Then, Chindi Ardhadeepair Bhagavan. So, please cut the knot of Ardhadeepair. Please cut the knot of material Grandhi. Grandhin Hridayan. Chindi Grandhin Hridayan. Please cut the knot from the core of my heart and let me know the destination of my life. Please let me know the destination of my life by your words, Vachobhi. So he's saying, so sometimes it is argued that people do not know the spiritual master and that finding a spiritual master from whom to get enlightenment in regard to destination of life is very difficult. So therefore King Satyavrata is saying as an answer that he is showing us the way to accept the Lord as a real spiritual master. So the real spiritual master, the Supreme Lord, has given directions in the Bhagavad Gita how to deal with everything in this world and how to return back to Godhead. Therefore, one should not be misled by so-called gurus who are actually not showing us the real purpose of life. So therefore, we need to actually intelligent enough to identify a proper spiritual master. So the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita to surrender unto him. So therefore we should identify such a guru who actually says surrender unto Krishna. So when we find such a guru, we actually can take shelter of him and then we can actually fulfill the purpose of our life. Sri Sukha Uvacha Ityuktavantam Nrupatim Bhagavan Adi Purushaha Matsyarupi Mahambodho Viharam Tattvam Abravit. So, Iti Uktavantam Nrupatim. So, when Satyavrata that has prayed to the Supreme Lord in this way, Nrupatim, Bhagavan, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the original Supreme Lord, Adi Purushaha, but Matsyarupi, who has assumed the form of a fish, Mahambodho Viharams. So the Lord, while moving in the water of inundation, Tattvam Abravit, he explained to him the Tattva, the absolute truth. Purana Samhitam Divyam Sankhya Yoga Kriyavatim Satyavratasya Rajarshe Atmaguhyam Aseshataha. So the Purana Samhitam, what all he received, the Supreme Personality of Godhead explained to King Satyavrata the spiritual science known as Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya Yoga Kriyavatim. Sankhya Yoga Kriyavatim. So he he explained to him the Sankhya Yoga, the science by which one distinguishes between matter and spirit. So that which is we can also call it as Bhakti Yoga. So this comes in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam also, and also in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Sankhya Yoga. So the goal of Sankhya Yoga is to actually surrender to Krishna. So therefore, that science by which one distinguishes between matter and spirit can also be called as Bhakti Yoga. So along with the instructions contained in the Puranas, Purana Samhitam Divyam, they are transcendental. Purana Samhitam Divyam. Divyam means all transcendental literature. And Samhita means the Vedic instructions contained in the Brahma Samhita and other Samhitas. So there is Yajnavalkya Samhita. So all those things. So the Supreme Lord explained to Satyavrata the Sankhya Yoga, and then Kriyavati means how this can be practically applied in one's life. And then Satyavrata and Sankhya Yoga. So, and also the Puranas and Samhitas. So, by which the Atma Guhyam, the mysteries, and he also explained the mysteries of self-realization. Atma Guhyam Aseshataha means without anything left over. Also means including all the branches of it. Asraushi drishibi sakam atmatattvam asamsayam navyasina bhagavata proktam brahma sanatanam. So while sitting on the boat, King Satyavrata, accompanied by the great saintly persons, listened to the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in regard to self-realization. Asraushid Rishibhihi Sakam. So while sitting on the boat with saintly persons. Atma Tattvam Asamsayam. So he listened to the instructions on self-realization. Navi Asino on the boat. Bhagavata Proktam Brahma Sanatanam. So these instructions were all from the Brahma Sanatanam, Vedic literature. And then the Asamshayam. So the king had no doubt about the absolute truth. Atita pralayapaya uddhitaya savedase hatvasuram hayagrevam vedan pratyaharadharihe. At the end, okay. So now this is describing about the killing of the demon Hayagriva. So one may say that, okay, the instructions are given to Hayagriva, instructions are given to Satyavrata, where this demon came from here. So now the Srila Prabhupada is making it clear in the translation itself. The Acharyas say, Atita pralayapaya. So Atita, past. Pralaya apaye, at the end of the inundation. Uttitaya, to bring him to the senses after sleeping. Saha, the Lord, Vedase, unto Lord Brahma, Hatva, after killing. Asuram means Asura, the demon. Hayagriva, named Hayagriva. Vedan Pratyaharat. So all the Vedic literature delivered Harihi. So the Supreme Lord. So it is said that the Lord, after killing, so in order to awake Lord Brahma from the slumber, the Lord, after killing Hayagriva, he delivered all the Vedic literatures to Lord Brahma after he awakened from sleeping. Okay, so one may question that sorry, I got a confusion here. So here the verse says that at the end of the last inundation during the period of Swayambhuva Manu, the Supreme Lord killed the demon named Hayagriva and delivered all the Vedic literatures to Lord Brahma when Lord Brahma awakened from the sleeping. Okay, now I got it. So the killing of the demon Hayagriva has happened in the Swayambhuva Manu period. And when at the end of Swayambhuva Manu period, a demon called Hayagriva, when Lord Brahma was about to sleep, the Vedas emanated from his mouth, and the demon who was nearby, he stole the Vedas, and the Lord killed him, and he delivered the Vedic literatures to Lord Brahma when the Brahma awakened from sleeping. So this is being described here. So we are actually describing about two Matsya incarnations here. So that time when the Lord appeared to rescue the Vedas, he also appeared as Matsya, and in this time to save Satyavrata Muni at the time of inundation, he is also appearing as Matsya. So there are two Matsya incarnations. As we have two Varaha incarnations, one who actually killed Hiranyaksha, and the other who actually there is Rakta Varaha and Sweta Varaha. So one who actually lifted the Mother Earth and kept in the orbit, and that was actually during the Swayambhuva Manu period also. And there is one more Varaha who actually appeared when the earth got submerged because of Hiranyaksha's issue. So there were two times when the earth was submerged in the water. One was because of the inundation, and one was because of the demon actually misplacing the earth from the orbit. So the Lord appeared two times. So similarly here also the Lord is appearing two times. One time when Hayagriva stole the Vedas at the end of Swayambhuva Manu period, and now because in the at the end of Chakshusha Manvantara, when so because it was the midday of Brahma, Lord Brahma cannot sleep, so he appeared here also. सतु सत्यव्रतो राजा ज्ञान विज्ञान संयुतः विष्णु प्रसादात् कल्पेस्मिन् आसीत् वैवस्वतो मनुः. King Satyavrata was illuminated with all Vedic knowledge by the mercy of Lord Vishnu, and in this period he has now taken birth as Vaivasvata Manu, the son of the sun god. So Saha tu Satyavrato Raja Jnana Vijnana Samyutaha, who is endowed with Jnana, knowledge and practical application, Vijnana of that knowledge, Samyutaha, Vishnoha Prasadat, by the mercy of Lord Vishnu, Kalpe Asmin Asid Vaivasvato Manuhu. He became Kalpe on the next day of Lord Brahma, he became the Vaivasvata Manu, who is the son of the sun god. Satyavratasya Rajarsher Mayamatsya Saranginaha Samvadam Mahadakhyanam Srutva Muchyeta Kilbishat. So the Falasruti is being described here now. So this story concerning the great king Satyavrata and the fish incarnation of the Supreme Lord Vishnu is a great transcendental narration. Anyone who hears it is delivered from the reactions of sinful life. Srutva Muchyeta Kilbishat Samvadam Mahadakhyanam Maya Masyasya, so the illusory fish, Maya Masyasya Saranginaha of the Supreme Lord. So, and also about the Satyavrata Rajarshi. So, Avataram Harer Yoyam कीर्तयेदन्वहं नरः संकल्पास्तस्य सिद्ध्यन्ति स याति परमां गतिम्. Avataram Hareryo Ayam Kirtayed Anvaham Naraha. So one who narrates this description. Yo Ayam Kirtayed. One who narrates this description of Matsya incarnation and King Satyavrata will certainly have all his ambitions fulfilled. Sankalpas tasya siddhyanti. And what else? He will undoubtedly return home back to Godhead. Sayati Paramam Gatim. प्रलयपयसि धातु सुप्त शक्तेर्मुखेभ्यः श्रुतिगणम् अपनीतं प्रत्युत्पादत्तहत्वा तितिजमकथयत् यो ब्रह्म सत्यव्रतानां तमहमखिल हेतुं जिह्ममीनं नतोस्मि. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who pretended to be a gigantic fish. Pralaya payasi dhatuhu supta shakter mukhebhyaha, who resorted the Vedic literature to Lord Brahma when Lord Brahma awakened from sleep. Shruti ganam apanitam pratyupadatta hatva. Whom did he kill? He killed Hayagriva. Hatva Ditijam. So he killed the son of Diti, that is Hayagriva, the demon. Akathayat yo Brahma Satyavratana. So who he explained the essence of Vedic literature to Satyavrata. Tam Akhila Hetum. So to that supreme cause, that cause of all causes, Jihma Meenam, in the form of a fish, who pretended to be a fish, Natosmi. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, Hare Krishna. So we'll part for the day. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.